So many people might be unaware that things like the British Union of Fascists were actually a peace movement. But I'm going to start this video. This is a video with Sir Oswald Mosley. I recommend people read his books. I also recommend people try to understand what's going on here, where this interviewer is trying to put words in Mr. Mosley's mouth.
Sir Oswald Mosley, welcome to a Special Today programme. When I say welcome, you know and I know that throughout London, a great many Jewish viewers will not welcome your presence on this programme. Why should any Jewish person now watch you and listen to you?
Well, if some of them have abused me so much, they might be interested to see why.
One of the biggest issues that you'll see is with peace movements like the British Union of Fascists. What happens is that the second you say that you don't want your people, in this case the British people, to die for Israel, all of a sudden you become an anti-Semite. Okay? And the media backs it up, as you will see in this interview here.
But in fact, there are many great misunderstandings in politics. Now, let us be absolutely clear about this question. I was never anti-Semitic, and I'll define anti-Semitic. By that I mean someone who attacks Jews on account of race or on account of religion. I had a quarrel, not with some Jews, not with all Jews, but with some Jews about one subject, whether there should be a Second World War or not. Now, coming back from the First World War...
Now, people familiar, British people especially should be familiar with this, but the British Union of Fascists was heavily concerned with peace because they didn't want more British people to pass away as a result of a senseless war.
After that time, in the air and in the trenches and in the loss of all my friends, I was very strongly against another war. And it seemed to me, rightly or wrongly, that's a question we could debate, that certain Jews were trying to provoke a Second World War because their compatriots or co-religionists were admittedly having a very bad time in Germany. Now, I do not think that a minority in this country should pursue a policy contrary to the national interest, which can, and in fact which did, result in the loss of 50 million lives.
And you will notice how a certain group of people in the United States is promoting a policy of Zionism. Unfortunately, in the United States, it's actually Christian Zionists that are promoting policies that are counterproductive and counterintuitive to the national interests of the average American.
Gave rise to a very bitter quarrel of the period, in which harsh things were said and harsh things done, because they attacked our meetings. But I was not before that, and I have not been since, or even at the time, was not anti-Semitic, because not all Jews were involved, but only some.
Mr. Oswald, your answer, as you well know, begs so many questions that I have to put to you.
Which questions?
I'll come to those in a moment, but let me stay with not anti-Semitic, to refer to hecklers as the sweepings of the ghetto.
Well, the people who had just come in, it is very rough, these meetings, then shouting every insult, every abuse at the speaker. And he sees that they have just come in from Central Europe, from totally different conditions, to break up another meeting, gives them a rough answer. I might have said that to any foreigners who came in to try and break up an English meeting. Of course it was rough. People don't understand now in those great mass meetings, which some people were trying to break up.
Now, what was more rough? The fact that he called somebody some names, which I actually think are not that particularly bad, or the fact that there happened to be a Second World War where millions of British, millions of Russians, millions of Americans, and, of course, millions of Germans unfortunately died as a result of the Second World War, which he believed was being, and I believe also,